All righty. So we are here live, everyone, on the International Authors Lounge. That's right. I am your host, Shantina Gladney, and I am so very thankful that you decided to join us here today. Just like a book, when you open it up, guess what? Your mind begins to expand, and that is truly what it is that we do here at the Authors Lounge. But I am not alone because we have the founder of Leaders Read Bookstore. She is the president of Leaders Read, which is located right at the Collective in Bayshore. But her resume expands on beyond because everywhere you find her, she is empowering and uplifting individuals, making sure that they have platforms. That is why she is the founder of Skill Builders Network, in which you will find out more about that. But she is one of Wisconsin's leading real estate agents, as well as brokers, that is right here in the Glendale, Wisconsin area for a major real estate brokerage. So without further ado, I would like to go ahead and bring up to the line and to the stage of the International Authors Lounge, none other than Coach Dion Barnes. Coach, are you there?
I am. And thank you so much, Dr. Shantina Gladney. Wow, we have a power-packed show planned for you today. I'm so excited to be the host of the International Authors Lounge. So I just want to give a huge shout out again to Dr. Shantina Gladney and the SGGN Group for creating this platform. Now, guys, just some housekeeping things. Just make sure you mark your calendars for every second Tuesday at noon. Plan to join us right here in the Authors Lounge, right? But now I'm ready. I'm ready to jump right into this power-packed show we have planned for you this afternoon. I am super excited to introduce this powerhouse. She is a powerhouse. She is from Milwaukee, guys, but she is hailing off the East Coast right now. That's where she's living. She is a wife. She's a mom. She's a grandmother. She's a top executive at a major corporation. She's leading teams all over the world, literally. She is a coach, but last but not least, she is the author of The Fix. And it's probably showing up backwards on your cameras, but it's The Fix. She authored this book. It's Focused and Intentional Execution. And when I saw this book, I knew it was going to be powerful, Dana, because I know you, right? So I want to bring to you guys Dana Cox. I'm going to bring Dana. Dana, I want you to let everyone know, because if I start talking, I'm just going to keep on going, and I have so much to say about you. You're so awesome, but I want everyone to hear from you. Who is Dana Cox? First off, thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with us today. I appreciate that. But then if you can answer, who is Dana Cox?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to spend time with you and your viewers, and sharing your platform with me. We've known each other a really long time. You've been a part of my journey. I've been a part of yours. It's been nice to have the fabrics of our lives kind of intertwined along this path. But I, like you, am a woman. You've said it. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. But I've grown up in the inner city of Milwaukee. I hail from humble beginnings. I came from a single parent household. I was raised in hillside housing projects. Born and raised, I know my roots. I'm a mom of 6 adult children. I have a daughter. I have 5 amazing sons. I have 3 beautiful grandbabies. I'm saying 3+ because I have no idea what the future holds, but I will take it as it comes. But I aspire to do many things. I enjoy the work that I do here at the company. I love the team that I get an opportunity to work with and lead. But I also love the fact that I get to do things outside of here. I own my own travel agency. I also love the opportunity to pour into others and help them to become their best self and tap into the greatness that's inside of them through coaching.
I love it. I love it, Dana. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm not gonna stop there. I have another question for you.
Come on.
They need to know. I love it. I love it. That's so empowering. Just hearing you just talk, and you say you grew up in Hillside. Some
Mhm.
people would stop in Hillside. No, no, right? We have to make the decision to keep going. So why, Dana? You didn't have to share your story. But so why did you feel compelled to write this book? What was the reason?
It's been interesting. So it's there have been many times along the path where I could have stopped. And probably a lot of people would have said I should have stopped. It could have been the time, when I became a teen mom. I had my daughter when I was 18. And I had many people in my life saying that was it, right? Your future is done, it's set, you've gone as far as you're gonna go. But no, that's not how I wanted my future to be. And so therefore I decided to do something different. I decided to do something better. Did that mean that I had to stop there? No, I just had to take a different route to finish my path, right? The scholarship that I had, and didn't get to take the scholarship that I had, but I had to take a different route to finish my degree. But I still finished my degree. It's just a different path to the end, that end result. And I think that's the thing that I want people to understand. Just because that path that you had charted, that path that you had thought about, you end up with a roadblock. That's a roadblock. It's not a denial. It's just
Right.
a block. There's a fork in the road. There's another path. There's another way to accomplish that goal. You just have to be willing to identify that alternate route, to be able to do that.
I love it. I love it. I want to ask you this. Can you share what your title is and what some of your responsibilities are in your current position?
Sure. So I'm Senior Vice President of Global Delivery Enablement. So what that means is that I lead a team of approximately 100 people across the globe. My team members reside in several offices across both within the United States as well as outside, in London, Belgium, India, Casablanca, Dublin, and a couple other places, which, because I will forget an office and then I'll be in trouble. So a couple offices. And what my team's responsibility is that we partner with our global product and technical teams to, one, vet our product readiness for the products that we are taking to market, but then also the validity of them. But then we also create documentation and processes for our regional teams that work with our customers to onboard to those products. So we work with those teams to make sure that they understand how to get the customers onto the product in a smooth and efficient manner.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And the reason I wanted you to do that is because most people know I'm an entrepreneur, right? And my conversation is always about being an entrepreneur, right? But here's when I was reading your book, it brought this back to my remembrance. First off, we've never had this many entrepreneurs in the history of our country, right? So many women and men are becoming entrepreneurs, leaving corporate jobs, some people not ever being in corporate. But when I was reading the book, it just made me think like, this is perfect because you come from a corporate perspective, but I firmly believe that we need to bring some of that corporate into our entrepreneurial journeys and into our businesses. Yes, and you would agree because some of the structure and the way that we operate and do things in corporate we could benefit inside of our entrepreneurial lives. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think, I work with a lot of small business owners, right? And particularly women business owners. I think about the way women show up in corporate. They tend to show up similar ways in when they own businesses, when they're entrepreneurs. We tend to play small, specifically when we walk into rooms where we're meeting with men. We are playing small when we shouldn't be playing small. We should be taking up as much space as the law would allow.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you know what, you all, I know you're just itching for me to hop into this book. We are going to hop into this book. And I have to say this, as I was reading the book,
Mhm.
I really appreciated how you laid the book out. It made me, when I was reading, I was like, okay, she is really setting the stage and letting me know that this is a journey. This is, I'm going to be taking a journey in this process. And that's how the book is laid out. And I really appreciated that, especially because I'm with about systems and things like that. But it was just, I was happy because when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, I don't have to arrive in the first part, because that I know that part is all about my discovery. And then the next part is about the planning. Then the next part is about execution. I could appreciate that. Because we're on a journey. We are on a journey. So we're gonna hop right in, Dana. We're
Okay.
gonna hop right in, and we're gonna go look at chapter number 2.
Okay.
That spoke to me. Identifying dimming behavior is what you entitled it.
Yep.
And this is the quote you used, and I thought this was so good. You dimming your lights is not doing anyone any favors, especially not yourself. It's your time to shine. Author unknown, but we all can take that, right? And
Yes.
run with it. And so from this chapter, I really wanted you to take a moment and talk about LDB. I
Yes.
thought that was so good. Talk about LDB behaviors, and you cover a couple of subtitles here. The
Mhm.
name dropper, I need
Mhm.
you to speak on that because that was so powerful. And then, are you playing small? And I'm
Mhm.
kind of doing it like this because we have a lot to cover. And then the story of you. And I want you to do it in that order. So let's talk about the LDB,
Mhm.
and then let's go right into the other subtopics.
Okay. So, light dimming behaviors are, I call them light dimming behaviors because they're things that we do that dim our light, right? We don't necessarily realize that they're dimming our light, right? And in certain parts of our life, certain times in our journey, they may have really been beneficial things that helped us on our journey. And I'll think about it this way, like, what got you to a certain part in your journey may not necessarily help you get to the next step in your journey. And so there are times when we need to reassess our game plan to understand whether or not the things that we did before are still relevant today, and whether or not they're going to be relevant tomorrow.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That's so good. And you said that so clearly in the book. I want to say this quote. You said LDBs are like ninjas. They are sneaky, subtle, and stealthy. I said, oh my goodness, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, she is so right. And then when I started reading the name droppers, I want you to talk about that because people tend to, I know this person, I know that person, thinking that that's adding value to them.
Yes.
Talk to me
Mhm.
about that.
So I see it a lot in corporate, and I also see it in business because I also, like you, am an entrepreneur, and not 100%. I'm riding that line, right? But you see it where people are using it to establish themselves, right? Either to give themselves credibility in a relationship, or to give credence or credibility to a statement, right? It's, oh, so and so said, right? This is coming from Jim. It's not coming from me, right? You need to do it because Jim said, or you need to do it because Linda said, right? Because Linda's voice or Jim's voice carries more weight than my voice. And when in one time of my career, that might have served me better because of where I was in my career. But where I am in my career today, that's not helping me. It's dimming my light because I've evolved in my career. So that behavior is not serving me to help me to get to the next level.
So you have to be very self-aware on this journey.
You have to be very self-aware. You have to also reevaluate how you're showing up. Because doing that does not necessarily give you credibility. It actually, you showing up as a messenger. You're carrying a message for Jim and Linda. you're not establishing yourself as a credible voice in the conversation, or you're not establishing yourself as someone who has the authority on the topic or a subject matter expert. You're just someone that's carrying a message. If you want to carry a message, work for the post office.
Okay, okay. That was okay. Well, okay, so here, so when you want to be a leader, so I do know that sometimes using someone else's name, it does add credibility. So let's just kind of clear that up. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Timing is how you do it, right? And you can't depend on somebody else's name and their works to pull you through.
Exactly. It's a matter of timing. It's a matter of how much the frequency of it as well. So it's a matter of reading the room and reading the situation.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
So it's that awareness is back to what you said. You have to be self-aware. You also have to be cognizant of all the other factors. Whether it's corporate or entrepreneurship, it is a game of chess. It's all about strategy. And there are many aspects of this that you have to be aware of. You have to read all of the points before you make the move.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about this then. Let's talk about playing small. So now we've gotten, oh goodness, yeah, so much to talk about, and I got to get through this. So playing small, are you playing small? We've gotten to the point where women can stand up in the workplace, right? And we are standing up in our entrepreneurial journeys as well. When is there, so what would you tell someone? I want to touch on this. A lot of us come from the place of be humble, be humble. And humble was illustrated to us, if we had to put it in the context for today, to like play small and dim your light. So what would you say about playing small? And
I'm like,
let's talk to that.
I observe, so I have a lot of, my team dynamics are about 50-50 with across my team. I try to keep it very balanced between male and female as much as I can. And I observe the women within my organization. I try to as much as possible, especially when I have big team meetings where I can get as many people together as possible. And I just watch to see how they enter a room, where they take a seat and things of that nature. And often if they're the first ones into the room, they don't take a seat at the table. They'll sit in the chairs on the wall.
So what would you recommend that they do? What should they be doing?
They should be taking a seat at the table because their body language says, I don't feel that I earned a right or I belong at the table.
And ladies, that's not too loud. I think
that's not too loud.
That is not too loud. We cannot worry about being too loud. We want to say the right message the right way. And I love this little song that you sing to yourself as you were on your journey, your corporate journey. And as you were walking into rooms with executives where there probably weren't men, weren't women in there, saying, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. So ladies, whatever you need to say to yourself, that's going to make you sit up tall and sit at that table where you've earned the right to be. Make sure that you're doing that. Sing that song to yourself.
And taking a seat at the table, like that's something real simple. The other thing I've observed women doing is, say, for example, the meeting's in process and other people come in late. Women are the first ones to try to find people a seat. They start moving their stuff, moving their purses, making their space smaller. Scooting over so somebody can have a seat. You don't see a man doing that?
No.
It's still paying attention to what the conversation is going on. You done missed 10 minutes trying to help Jody or somebody find a seat.
Right. And so when you earn your
spot. If they wanted a seat that bad, they should have been there on time. You are not the seat police.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's go to the story of you. Let's touch on that.
Okay.
The story of you. It's very hard for women in business and in just different settings to speak about themselves. Let's touch on that because you gave some really good points about that.
Okay. So I'm right now, we're in the year-end process here at work. And so it's, talking about what did you accomplish? What value did you contribute to the organization? And it's funny that you're asking me this question because my team is working through their self-evaluations. And I've gotten a couple of those submitted to me and I've sent them back.
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
So what is the criteria that we're looking for? Why would you send them back?
I sent them back because they did not toot their horn.
Wow.
I'm
So
like,
at the high
you've
level
done
executive.
I'm like, you've done amazing work this year. This does not even begin to scratch the surface of the value you've contributed.
Wow. And ask that question again, Dana. Ladies, I want you to write this down, or the audience, men and women alike, right? It's just not for women. I want you to write the question that she asked. Can you ask those two questions again, Dana? What is the value? What value what did you accomplish this year, and what value? Okay, I'll say it. What did you accomplish this year, right? And what value did you bring to the organization? Those are two really key questions that we should be asking ourselves. And it is the end of year planning. It is the time of reflection as we get ready to plan for the next year and set goals. So
Yes.
Absolutely ask yourself those two questions. Wow.
And I think the thing I think the struggle is people tend to write their self-evaluation based upon the what I did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I did 20 projects. I did X number of this and Y number of that. And that's not to say that that's wrong. So I'm not saying that that's wrong. Please understand me. But the value is not in the what you did. The value is in the so what of it.
Expound on that a little bit, Dana.
What did the 20 projects lead to? What was the result of those 20 projects for the organization? The result of the 20 projects for the organization was Y amount of revenue or Z amount of market share. Without those projects, something else the organization wouldn't have benefited in a certain way. It behooves us to understand the role that we're playing within our organizations. Not just that we have a job, but what is the job that we're doing and how does it connect to the corporate goals and the corporate objectives? If you understand the what of your job and how it connects back to the top, then you know how to speak about the work that you're doing and how it contributes to the corporate objectives at the year-end process.
I love that. So for me, in my world, I'm saying impact.
Yes, impact.
Impact. That sounds like impact to me.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Ladies, okay, y'all, listen, this is good stuff, right? And Dana, at the back of your book, after each chapter, I love this. After each chapter, you have a summary, and you also have some thought questions and a place to journal and write, which I think is so awesome. And ladies, this book will be in the bookstore. It will be in the bookstore on Thursday. So now let's move on to being intentional. That's a really, I was real excited about this. We're going to section 2, you all, the plan. I'm sorry. We're going to section 2, which is the plan. And we're going to go into chapter 5. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be different. And I'm all about the plan. But I really like in this particular chapter, you talked about being curious and staying curious. And I thought that was really powerful. But this is something that I did want to read. It says, be allergic to average. Be allergic to average. And you said, additionally, having a strong network of colleagues who can vouch for your capabilities and support you in pursuing higher positions can give you a competitive edge over others vying for the same roles. When I was reading that, I'm like, you do have to stand up, and you do have to dare to be different, be courageous, and really, really just not do things as status quo. Do things a little different. Really own you. And a lot of words that go around here lately is like the imposter syndrome. You know, you hear a lot of people talking about that, and this kind of led me to that, the imposter syndrome. And it made me think about that. So I really wanted you to kind of talk about a couple of things here. Your ABCs, always be curious, and what that really means for you, and what you would share with other women, or our listeners. I'm sorry, I keep saying women because this book can help both men and women. What about that, Dana, the ABCs?
1 second, Dee.
Okay. So this is what happens live, right? We have this is what
Yes.
happens live when you're in. We have to just pivot. So what I'm going to do while Dana is walking, I'm going to read this to you. She says, always staying curious means continuously questioning the status quo and discovering ways to be innovative. You're always challenging yourself with the intention of improving the process, the team, and or the value that you and your organization are bringing to other parts of the organization or your customers on the back end. Good is not a destination for you. Greater is always in sight. So that's the ABCs, you all. So Dana, why don't you talk a little bit about being allergic to being average, and this is something else. Delivery matters. It's a lot in this chapter that was so very good. So we'll start with the ABCs though, because it sounds like that was something that's really, really, really close to you.
It is. So about be allergic to being average, I think for me, one thing that stood out in my career was I had one boss in my journey, and I didn't like her very much. And I love her now, but in the moment, I didn't like her very much because for the first 6 months, I literally went home and I cried. I felt like this woman was just unreasonable. Like she was unreasonable. She was just expecting like too much from me. And I went in and I was giving her my notes. And she told me she was not going to accept my notes that day. But she had something she wanted to share with me. And if I wanted to quit tomorrow, she would accept my notes tomorrow. But she was pushing me because she saw greater in me. And that I was working below my capacity and my ability. And that I should stop trying to work at the level of my peers and work at the level of my gifting.
The level of your gifting. Wow.
And I was like, so she said, so you go home and you think about that. If you want to quit tomorrow, I'll let you. I'll accept your notice tomorrow if that's what you want to do. But if you want to truly work at the level of your gifting and continue to work with me, then I expect you to come in here tomorrow and you would tell me that. And we rip this up together. And then we're going to do this. That was the one conversation that has changed my life and changed how I show up every day.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. And I'm glad she called you out on it because you are super, super smart. And if she probably knew right away, like, no.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
So what about, you talk about delivery.
Yes.
Talk about delivery for me.
What I mean by delivery is the quality of your work. The quality of the product that you produce, what you put out. Delivering on time. My preference is that on time is late.
Okay.
On time is late.
So when you have expectations, if you have a project that's due, you're expecting to see it before.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And my team knows on time is late.
Wow. That's awesome though. And let's talk about this. Let your work, I love this. Let your work make all the noise. But you said this though, and I want to make sure I pull this out before you speak about it. You said, please don't take this to mean that you should not be evangelizing your work, because you most certainly should. And so I want you to talk about evangelizing your work.
So both of those points. One, it's important to have receipts, right? So when I say allow your work to make all the noise, not just in your year end, but making sure that you are adding value, you're contributing that value across the organization, not just in your work assignments, but take those special projects, work across your enterprise, the things you're doing out in entrepreneurship, multiple streams of income. As I stated earlier, I have two businesses outside of what I'm doing here. So multiple streams of income, but making sure that you're putting your best work forward, and you're doing that. But as you evangelize from a corporate setting, that you're doing that across the enterprise, in the C-suite level, with those people that have I would say, the sphere of influence and corporate currency, that can speak on your behalf, that can sponsor you, that are the people who, when special assignments come up, that might think of you. They know the quality and the caliber of your work because you've shared that with them, and they know about those projects.
Mm-hmm. So they have, your receipts. What about embracing your differences, Dana? You said you spent, this was so powerful, I thought. You said, I've spent several years figuring out my lane, which lane I belonged in. And I won't read all of it, but you said you did figure out that you are the lane. Talk about that.
I have done many things, many jobs, I've done many different things in my life, and trying to just figure out, like, do I do this? Do I do that? And it wasn't until at some point in my journey that I don't have to fit anything. It's not a box. It's not a mold. It's me. I am the lane. I don't have to fit into anyone else's anything. I'm a lane all by myself. God broke the mold when he made me, and my skills are unique to me. No one can do what I do, how I do it.
Wow. I love it. I love that. Dana, we're getting a little bit of interruption on your end. Just like move just a little bit, maybe.
Is that better?
Hopefully it won't stop again. You said God broke the mold when he made you.
Yes.
And that's so very true. We do often, and sometimes you can hear too many voices telling you, well, you should do this, or you should do that, or you should do this. And I'm really going to encourage everyone to kind of just look inside. And I think, do you believe this? Do you believe this to be true? You have to be courageous. I think you have to have a sense of courage to say, I am the lane. I'm not doing what the status quo says I should do. Tell me how you kind of got to that point where you had to finally say, I am the lane, but
well, I think the thing is you, like you said, there's a lot of voices. There are a lot of people that have opinions. You know, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody got one. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's your life. And you have to be the one that embraces what it is you want to do with your life. And you don't have to apologize for it. You don't need anybody's permission about it. It's all on you. And you have to be willing to make that decision without factoring anybody else into it. And that's the most important thing. You know, I had a conversation with some women over a brunch, and the dialogue was about women can't have it all. And I said, I disagree. They're like, no, we can't have it all. You can either have this or that. I said, I disagree, because it depends on how we define all. Every woman is unique. Her definition of all is going to be unique to her. And that definition of all is going to evolve with her. So
agreed.
Where I am in my life today differs from where I was in my life 10 years ago. And what I defined as all then is different from how I define all now. But at each chapter of my life, how I defined it, I could definitely have it and obtain it.
Yes, yes. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I would have been sitting at that brunch saying the same thing. I humbly disagree. I disagree with you all because that's not true. So many times we do allow people to give us a definition of, and I often talk to women in real estate, even we talk about balance. I have friends that talk about balance, and I'm like, balance. To me, there's no such thing as balance. You define priorities and what's important to you. Now, that's my definition, and that makes me work okay in my world, right? Doing the things that are important to me. And that's my quote unquote balance. But for some years, probably really, really prevalent, probably 10 years ago, everybody was trying to get to this balance. And of course, nobody could get to the balance because there is no such thing as balance, in my opinion. It's your priorities. And like you said, this year, this may be a priority. The next 5 years to me might be a different priority, but that's how my life is going to look. I define success for me. I define balance for me. I define those things, nobody else. So that's super important.
And balance is another word. Like for me, I think balance is achievable. It just depends on how you define it.
Yep, you have to define it.
You have to define it. Once you put a definition on it, it's your definition. It's not someone else's definition.
Yes, exactly. And that's how I operate. So my balance is my balance, but you can't come and tell me, Dion, this is what your balance is. Because
you're not living my life.
Exactly. Dana, this book is so good. And guys, remember, at the end of every chapter, there's a summary, and then there is a place for you to journal, add some thought questions at the end of every chapter. Now we are going into execution, and that is a big deal for me. I believe words are so very powerful. I really lean into words. That's why I'm probably a bookstore owner, right? I know the power of words. And when I got to this chapter, execution, it really spoke to me because that is where I am right now in my journey to live up to my definition of success. And there's there's a part of me where I want to execute so much more because I have the desire to be so much more impactful, right? So when I got to this chapter, I'm like, man, when I got to this part of the book, I'm like, okay, let's go. How are we going to execute? How are we going to make this happen? And chapter 7 stood out to me. Take charge. And I read the quote, and your quotes, Dana, throughout each chapter are very powerful. And I could tell you took a lot of thought in putting them, in choosing these particular quotes for these chapters. So in this quote, you say, it's only when you take responsibility for your life that you discover how powerful you truly are. And that's from Aliana Hunt. And I read that and I was like, you know what? That is so true. And then I just thought to myself, I am powerful and I want to execute. And then the whole take charge. So the whole chapter, all of this just kind of came full circle for me. And so I want you to share some thoughts, but I do want to read this. I want to get us started by reading this. You said, let's hear, let me see. Is there a bright future for women in leadership? You say, yes, without a doubt. Leadership is about facing constant challenges, building, innovating, stabilizing teams, triumphing over obstacles, and never having the same day twice. And then you end it by saying, talk to me about that quote, about how you were feeling when you wrote that, and to end it with, there had to be some feelings there. Can you share those with us, please?
Yes, that's pretty much every day. I do feel that, every day I get up and I get to come to work, and I get to have a bright future. I enjoy what I do here with the people I get to do it with. And the one thing before my feet hit the floor that I ask myself is, do the things I get to do today still bring me joy?
Mm.
And do the things I get to do today with those people that I get to do them with still bring me joy? It's a daily check-in. And if the answer to both aspects of that are yes, I put my feet on the floor and I get ready to come here. And that's how I know my future here is bright. It's because that's how I start my day.
I love it. I love it. Now, as far as the female quotient, so we're gonna go right into the female quotient. Talk about that, because organizations are figuring out how powerful we are as well. So share with me, because I know that you've had quite the journey in your corporate journey and through leadership, where at first it probably wasn't known, that wasn't recognized as much. I know from the era I come from, we were just kicking in doors, right, and breaking glass ceilings. So let's talk to me about like the now in corporate, the female quotient. Talk to me about that.
It's still evolving, if I'm honest. I think we've seen more awareness of it than in our earlier days, right? But I think that there's still work to do, right? I think we're seeing this, organizations have really kind of awakened to the fact that women have these like unique set of skills and experiences. They make amazing leaders, right? Because they really do have I'm going to say, this nurturing aspect where they tend to be a little more in tune with people. There is an opportunity for them to, they have meaningful contributions. They're able to inspire others, right? And in a way that some others are not. And organizations are finding that they can benefit from that. I know the women leadership here where I am, I would say it's pretty balanced. It's not overly rotated one way or the other, but I think we're starting to see other companies, put women in place in roles in leadership. And I think we're starting to see more women of color now be put in places of leadership more so now than we have in the past. And I think that's the pivot more so these days than was in previous days, is more women of color than before.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. Well, I'm glad to see the evolution. I'm glad to see the evolution in corporate and in private sectors as well.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing it across the board, and I'm super happy about that. And I'm super happy. I'm going to just touch on this too. And this is a big deal to me. As I look and as I watch television and I talk to friends in corporate, I get so much joy in seeing women of color. And that could be Indian, Hispanic, African American. I'm talking all women of color, showing up as their authentic selves, not trying to look one way or the other, really embracing their cultural isms, whatever, however, how they really show up. And I love that, because I do remember years ago when we couldn't show up like that. So many things are to be, we should be very grateful, I believe. I'm grateful for the journey, but I'm so grateful that our voices are really being heard, and to see, and people be like, she's dating herself. But some of you on here, I know you'll know what I'm talking about. When I see the meteorologist expecting, right, on television, because we used to have to hide that, even in sitcoms and everything. So just really having the opportunity to just really stand up and be our authentic selves and be loud with our gifts. And so, Dana, now this part here, I'm just so excited about this too. This whole book just had me so excited. So what I'd like to do today to close us out is the 7 biggest lessons to execute the fix. The 7 biggest lessons to execute the fix. And what I'd like for us to do is to go back and forth. So I'll lead off because this one made me jump out of my seat. So I'll start us with number one and then you do number two. I'll do number, and we'll go back and forth like that, right? To close.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Let me know when you are ready. I am, yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're ready. Let's go. Okay, so number one, the 7 biggest lessons to execute the fix, right?
Mhm.
This is for women leaders, and I'm thinking leaders. Men, you really jump on this. Take your pen out. This is for you too.
Yes.
You can have bright futures if you follow these 7 lessons, right? So the first one is game on. Playing the game of leadership. Leadership is a game. And as they say in chess, it's time to make your opening move. If you are on the board but not making moves, you are at risk for capture. Oh my goodness. In other words, play the game or be played. You decide on how you show up and present yourself. So show up confidently. Do not ever quit when it comes to getting what you desire. And also recognize that if something is not working, stop putting more energy into it. Own your board. We can drop the mic right there because that was everything for me. I love that. I love that. So Dana, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Number 2.
Number 2, in a world of fake, keep it real. Are people meeting and experiencing the real you or your representative? Do you know who the real you is? As the world changes, we see that people are starting to have honest conversations about authenticity and being able to trust others. Show others who you are. Are you funny and detail-oriented? Do you support others openly? Can you hold someone's confidence? Do you demonstrate empathy? Are you comfortable being uncomfortable? Show the world who you are and that uniqueness still has a place in this world.
Oh my goodness. In a world of fake, keep it real. Okay, y'all. Number 3, get clear on your desire. Pursue this ruthlessly. I love that. Like we say go hard. That's another way, right? To say
Yes.
go hard. Just
Go hard.
hard. It says only you know what you want out of this life, and your imagination only limits what you seek to achieve. Once you spend time getting to know yourself and nurturing your inner self, I recommend spending time getting clear about what it is you want. Don't limit this to just careers, ladies and men. It's time to start designing your dream life. A career is one piece of that puzzle. Weak desires bring weak results and inspire confidence in no one. OMG. Okay, Dana, number 4.
Be the queen bee, not the worker bee.
Mm.
I'm just saying. Don't be just a worker bee. True leaders do not bury their heads in the work or data. Leaders stay open to possibilities and seeing trends and changes in the workplace. She keeps the pulse, maintains boots on the ground, asks fundamental questions, and opens others up to what the market is missing. Become social in a unique way and engage others as only you can. Show yourself and stand in your power. Demand the light and shine bright. Others need to see you, hear you, and know you right now.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness, the nuggets, the nuggets. Number 5, dream big, ask bigger. I'm gonna say that one more time. Dream big, ask bigger. Dana, okay. So this is what you wrote. Don't put your dreams and goals on hold for anyone. Oh yes, not even you. In an age of monkeypox, pandemic, inflation, and supposed recession, what are you waiting for? Tomorrow is not promised. Get yours now. Who do you need to be around? Okay, your circle, y'all. Where else can you express and demonstrate your zone of genius? Please don't delay. Write it out, make it plain, execute, execute. Ask others for help and gain their attention and respect in the process. Most people do not ask and do not get further in their careers. And while asking, ask bigger of yourself and everyone around you. And Dana,
Yes,
I'm gonna this is so powerful. Dana, I want you to take the next 2, okay?
So number 6, chase your dreams and secure the bag that reflects your worth. Make sure you are treating yourself as if you are already worthy. Examine if your paycheck reflects this fact. If it does not, as a leader, you will have to make hard decisions. And one may be to put yourself out there more to get what you need, to stay on the radar of others who make those decisions and to have those decisions be in your favor every time. And then number 7, find your tribe. Now, I'm not talking about the raggedy friends who listen to you complain and bond over mutual trauma. You need a group of women or men who will push you to be better and support you along your journey. There's a lot of brokenness in this world, and the last thing you need is someone to validate your misery without pushing you to be better. Reset your mind and find your tribe. These women or men are out there. Happiness and positivity attract money, promotions, referrals, and other opportunities. Start weeding and pruning now. Your ability to soar as a leader comes from being around other leaders, not followers or those who accept their fate.
Wow. Wow. That was powerful. Guys, let me tell you something. Life is just too short for us to not live it. And Dana has a quote here. We're going to end with this quote. You said this. You said someone said this to you. Christy Rutherford said this to you. And I thought this was so very impactful. It says, when we get this one short life to live, and you get to determine if you make an impact or not. Life is short and unpredictable. No one will permit you to be happy, free, and healthy. That is your responsibility. Christy Rutherford. Guys, we always hear about ownership, right? That really big ship that nobody wants to jump on. But guess what? You do have to take ownership for your life, and you have to take ownership for fixing it if you want to fix it. So you can climb the corporate ladder without tearing up your family. You can climb the corporate ladder without losing who you are. We've heard it from someone who has done it. Dana, I appreciate you so much. And I am so very happy that you took time to write it out for us, to give us the blueprint. Your book was so good. And guys, guess what else? And I'm going to be a little humorous here if you know me. I don't laugh. I love to laugh. I love jokes. But the print, you all, we can read it without readers. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I love it. I love it. So very powerful. And thank you so much, Dana. Thank you for gracing our stage and joining us right here in the Authors Lounge. I appreciate you guys. Remember, the book will be in stock at Leaders Read on Thursday. Come on down 5700 North Bayshore Drive in Glendale, Wisconsin. Come down and get your copy. If you are not in Wisconsin, I want you to inbox me, right? And you want a copy of this book, inbox me and we'll figure out how we get this book to you, okay? Again, Dana, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Dr. Shantina Gladney, that concludes our show. And I thank you so much for this platform. It's amazing. Guys, I can't wait to see you here again next month, second Tuesday at noon. Bring your lunch and have a sit down and join us in the Authors Lounge.